Particular verse was revealed to Saul. I thought he was giving me some chocolates.
No, I don't offer chocolates.
Okay, so the important thing is the context. It's very important that we understand the context. The reason they were killed is because these Amalekites, what they did 400 years ago, that is the reason God now sanctioned that Saul and his army, they kill everyone in that particular land. So it wasn't for the sins that they were going to commit, or that they were already evil, or they were already sin. These was 400 years after. That means you're talking about the children of the children of the children of the ones who had originally committed the crime. Do you understand? So these people who were killed, including the men, the women, the children, the infant, and the animals, they were all in this particular scenario. They didn't have any reason to be killed other than for vengeance of the forefathers. Okay, so it's not the same.
Is that fair? I'm asking you, is that fair? Is that fair?
Me?
Yeah.
I will not give an answer to that.
Why?
I'll tell you why.
Just be.
No, I tell you why.
If you're a great grandfather, I will ask you a question. Let me give you. If you're a great grandfather,
of what you said now, and they're all true, that one. But I don't think.
If you're a great grandfather,
That is, you just read it, bro.
What's your name?
You read the words.
Listen.
No.
What's your name? Just remind me your name. What's your name?
Ardit.
Yeah?
Ardit. Yeah.
Listen, if your great grandfather killed my let's say one of my ancestors, yeah?
Yeah.
Can I come and kill you?
We don't listen. I know my God, G. I know my God is a.
That is your God.
No.
That is your God.
Are you talking about this?
Yeah, he's a Christian.
We're living in the New Testament now.
Yes.
So the Old Testament
Whereas
is
Muslims still living in the Old
Actually, I
Testament.
can show you the killing in the New Testament as well if you want.
So it's the same Jesus in the Old Testament. It's the same.
My friend, if you want, I can show you the killing in the New
The
Testament.
God
How about
of
that?
the Old Testament is the same God
If
for
you
the New
saw a
Testament,
woman
isn't it?
doing adulteries, would you stone her?
Listen,
Yes, you would.
the old
Yes, you would.
no, because there's no law here to do that.
No. If you was in that country and they asked you to get involved,
No, I will not.
would you do it?
No, I don't want.
Why wouldn't you do that? Why
I
wouldn't
don't
you
want.
do that?
Now, hey, this is not
You're
the-
going against Sharia.
This is not the
You're going
point.
Why did Jesus
This is
not
the
do
point.
it?
Why did Jesus didn't do it?
Why?
Well, because he was a God. He was a God of love.
He's what?
Who gave the original command for
gave the original command?
for stoning? Who gave the command? Jesus.
No.
Ah.
But not the
But I just told you. No. But who sanctioned the law?
Jesus.
Who sanctioned the law?
In the New Testament.
My friend, who sanctioned the law?
Muslims.
You see, he's not answering the question now.
So God has two faces.
All the laws were given by God in the Old Testament.
Listen.
We're in the New Testament.
Listen, the
That's
New
the
Testament.
great thing.
Shall I show you from the New Testament? Will that help you? Okay, I'll show you from the New Testament. No
Jesus the same
problem.
one in the New Testament. Is he the same one in the Old Testament? He said yes, it's the same one. The God in the New Testament is the same Jesus God in the Old Testament, isn't he?
I don't, Johnny.
Yeah, he's the same.
Why Jesus has all of them?
Why did
So if the same one, hold on.
Why did God send Jesus at that time?
Hold on.
Why?
If Jesus is the same God as according to you in the New Testament, is the same God as the Old Testament, now here we have an issue. So here you said he's the same one who command, for example, women to be stoned. He's the same one who sent the people to kill people to other people, and he's the same one who you said he never tortured anyone. We're saying your point of discussion is weak.
Yeah.
You understand?
It's already been refuted.
it's not.
He's
been
fair.
refuted already.
He's a
God
Christian,
gave us-
and he's fair, and he said,
No.
yes,
God
that's
gave us
God,
the New
and that's God,
Testament.
and that's Jesus
We're
is the same
living
one,
in
and
the New
he did it.
Testament.
Actually,
We're
what?
living in the New Testament.
We don't know.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
We're not in a position.
Okay, he wants you to know from the New Testament.
The New Testament.
We'll give you from the New Testament. Okay, more killing from Jesus. It says here in Matthew chapter 15, verse 3, Jesus replied, this is to the Pharisees, and why do you break the commandment of God for the sake of your tradition? For God said, honor your father and mother, and anyone who curses a mother and father shall be put to death.
Yeah, but he's not telling them.
He is telling them. He is telling them.
He's not telling.
He is telling them. Read it again. Read it again.
He's not telling.
Read it again. He is telling them.
He's not telling them to go and put someone to death.
What is he saying
he
then?
said this.
He's reminding them.
Reminding of what?
To do what?
Of what?
To do what?
Reminding them
put
of
to
the
death.
old law.
To do what?
Why?
What?
Why is it here? If the law is no more valid, why is it reminding
Okay,
them?
let me ask you a question. Do they do that in Israel today?
Are you going to answer the question?
No,
I answered to my question.
Relevant
what Israelis do today. It's important what Jesus Christ said here.
Yes.
No, what did Jesus Christ say?
What did Jesus say?
It's
anybody in Israel
irrelevant what the
today?
Jewish people do in Israel. What did Jesus
This
say?
is an Old Testament law, which Jesus is resurrecting.
died out.
So he's reminding people of the Old
your sin
Testament,
leads to death.
and he's telling the people.
No, this is not sin. This is about anyone who curses the mother or father shall be given capital punishment.
Sheikh, it's a serious point.
Okay.
It's a serious
Absolutely.
point.
But
There's no but, bro.
no,
That's
but there
it.
is but. But how can you take that when he says
Under the
let
Old
the West when he
Testament
says
Testament. Yes, I agree. We live in the New Testament here, but here.
How do you explain this? How do you explain this?
Okay,
They are reminding.
Let me tell you something. Listen. Jesus came after the law. Wait. The law of Moses came 14 or.
Was he telling any
My friend,
specific
I'm making a
law to do
point.
that?
Just let me make the point. 1400 years after Moses was given this law in Exodus, Jesus is telling the Jews, why do you, for the sake of your tradition, do not obey the command of whom? The command of God Almighty. And then he rebukes them for stopping this commandment for the sake of their tradition. What is the command given in Exodus? The command, wait a minute. The command was anyone who curses the mother or father shall be put to death. Okay, wait. Now you tell me, if this command was no more valid, what is the reasoning for Jesus to even remind the Jews of this?
There's a reason he's reminding them.
So
What is that?
Tell me, what is it?
Okay, let me have a look at the context.
Please do, go on. I wouldn't have it any other way.
So he's talking to the Pharisees.
Yeah, read from the beginning
and
if you want.
teachers of the law.
Yes, that's what I said already.
And he's reminding them about the laws that they
have abandoned.
formerly followed.
Yes. Okay.
Given by God.
Now,
Given by God, yeah?
bearing in mind that these laws were very, very seldom followed in the Old Testament.
Regardless.
Very seldom.
Regardless.
It doesn't matter.
Very,
It
very
doesn't
seldom.
matter.
Now,
It doesn't matter,
Jesus
it doesn't
would
matter.
have been aware of that as a Jew, as a practicing Jew. He would have been aware of that.
Okay, that's not relevant. But
Okay.
now here, he's saying
So
something.
he's not coming in suddenly saying,
Wait.
"No,
he's
we've
saying
got to
something.
start stoning."
So let me
people
get
again,"
your logic
you know?
correctly. So you're saying the Jews who did not follow the law, but Jesus comes and reminds them, why don't you follow it?
No.
It doesn't make sense, does it? He's not telling them, do not follow the law. He's telling them, why do
Why
you not
don't
follow
you follow
it?
the law, following your
He
tradition?
rebukes them for it.
He's not saying that. He's not saying that.
No, he's saying it. I mean,
Okay, I'll tell you what.
You're better than me. I mean,
He's not saying
Let me ask you this. What's your name, by the way?
the verse again?
The verse is Matthew chapter 15, verse 3. But you can read it from the beginning. Important question here. Did the Jews stop following this commandment of the Old Testament, or they were not? Sorry, were they following or they were not following?
Let me go on.
Yeah, go on. The question is, were the Jews following this commandment, yes or no? The answer is based on this verse, they stopped it for the sake of their tradition. And Jesus is now rebuking them. Why are you stopping this law of God? Why have you stopped following this law of God? Anyone who curses a mother or father shall be put to death.
So that's his command. So he's
take it.
affirming. Can I say this is affirmation?
He's just reminding.
Why is he reminding?
Is he affirming?
Why is he reminding them?
Listen. You
I can't deal with everyone shouting.
you know English better than me, yeah? Even I learned it. This is my second language, yeah? So when the English is your first language, that's your mother tongue, yeah? So don't you think this is
He
affirmation?
didn't tell them reinstate this law.
Well, he's saying, why did you stop
Or
it?
bring it
Listen,
back.
listen,
You know, he's
listen,
kind of
listen.
reminding them.
If me-
No,
Did you realize?
he's reminding them of the law which they stopped. What is the point?
Is that me saying to you?
Yeah.
Affirmation
Don't you
of
remember when you
Because he's talking
when you
to
were
the
bad?
teacher.
Is it not
Because he
affirmation?
reminded you of the
No, it's not about that. It's about the law of God,
Affirming that.
which Jesus is
maybe-
rebuking them.
Is he yes or no?
Why,
Yes
for
or
the
no?
sake of a tradition?
Jesus is sarcastic.
He's just telling
Many
them,
times
is he
in the Bible.
By the way, do you know that's a command of law? That command was given by
Yeah,
Jesus.
I know.
Is
If you believe he's God,
this or not?
No, but you need to understand that
He's
there
just-
is
he's just
a
talking
revelation
to
to what God is
Jews.
trying
Yes,
to do.
he is affirming or not.
In the Old Testament, that
Hold on.
I think we have too many conversations. Let's keep one here.
He said, is he affirming this or not?
For some reason, he's
He's affirming.
told
Just say
the teachers of the
listen.
law
You should
and the
say.
Pharisees.
You should say this. He's affirming. Very simple, I think. You should say he's affirming.
I wouldn't
Then
say
why
it's
didn't you
affirming,
read
it's a
it?
reminder.
He is.
Then what is it?
Okay, Jesus replied. Wait. I'll read it again. Jesus replied, and why do you break the
He
command
said,
of God?
why did you? He said,
Why did you break the command of God for the sake of your tradition?
Laying down the law, okay? He wasn't laying down the law.
was he affirming or not?
He was reminding. He was reminding for
Why?
some reason.
Listen.
What is
why
the
did you-
point of
for
reminding,
example,
you know?
Let me tell you something.
No.
Listen.
Let me
tell you
promise
something.
you.
Can I say to you
If
something?
he was telling them to do that,
listen.
I wouldn't be Christian.
Can I say to you
Oh,
something?
serious?
Listen. What's your name?
You know, just like
What's your name?
Muslims
What's your
are not
name?
allowed to leave Islam.
What's your
you know?
name?
They'll
What's your
be
name?
killed if they do.
What's your name?
Robert.
For example, if I go to ISIS, God forbid, and then I go to them, I want to remind you to kill other people. Yeah?
Okay.
Do you think, is it a good thing to say to the people
Well,
that?
they don't need reminding. But
Yeah, they don't need
Exactly.
So that's the thing here.
behind it.
If I said that, am I going to be involved in it or not?
Tone to
It's not sarcastic.
When I remind them.
No, this is not sarcastic.
Yeah, to
Read from the
remind them,
beginning, you'll
this
understand.
thing, if it
Yeah, from verse
happens,
1.
this person has to be
well, then
killed.
they'll probably just say, welcome.
If I went to the media today, you know, if I read this in the media today, if I go to any channel and I said,
Okay.
do you know I'm gonna be in prison? Do you know this?
Yes.
They're gonna say it's
like ISIS.
It's gonna be ISIS check.
On the face of it,
Yeah.
he's telling them about what is in their formal
And
law.
what it should be.
But if you look,
No, he doesn't say formal law. He doesn't say
It is a
formal law.
formal.
That's your interpretation.
way of.
if you look at all
You're
the death
sugarcoating.
penalties, you look at all the death penalties with the Jews in the Old Testament, they were very seldom followed.
So what is the point of God giving a law not to be followed? What is the point of God giving all these laws if they're not to be followed?
You're right.
It makes no sense.
Listen. You know, if I go, you know, if I go and read this today in YouTube
On BBC.
and I said to you,
What about if he said,
you know what's gonna happen?
to death? What about that? If he said that, it's the same thing.
Anyway, it's a done deal, I think.
you know.
I understand your point of view.
Yeah, you know what will happen? They will say this is guy. They will not say this is about
what
the
happens. They
law.
start
It's
waffling.
not formal. It's not for. It's informal. They will say this guy is reminding people to kill others.
I do believe cursing your parents will essentially lead you to death. It's one way of
You actually believe that?
Jesus.
Would you put your children to death if they were being disrespectful to you? It does. Anyone who curses their parents shall be put to death.
Shall we put? He said that.
My friend, you read it like 3 times, friend. Yes, this one.
He said, anyone, if you curse your parents, that all the society, they should put you to death.
If he says put to death, will you reject the Bible?
No, really respect.
Gone.
Okay, so anyone who curses their father or mother is to be put to death.
In the same way that you do, we have to disseminate it. You know, we have to deal with it because some of it is unpalatable. So we have to deal with it.
Let's make it clear. When Jesus comes back again, when he returns in the second coming, is he going to commit violence? Is he going to kill?
To my understanding, the people who will be his enemies, who fight against him, they will be the ones who suffer, not the people who don't fight against him.
Exactly. So there will be. So Jesus is not a pacifist. He will destroy them
Well,
and make his own footstool,
generally,
according to the text.
generally
That's what he said in Luke 19.
generally he's bringing peace. Generally, he's bringing peace. But when he does return, which will be like the ultimate proof or confirmation for Christians and Muslims.
Just if you put things in context, for thousands of years there has been violence and killings, ethnic cleansing and genocide of the Amalekites, as we discussed earlier, and so on, right? This is what the Christian God has done earlier. For the 3 years when Jesus was here on this earth, only 3 years, he says just peace. When he returns again, it will be violence again. So basically, if you take the whole context, only 3 years talking about, you know what, just be peaceful. But overall, from the beginning to the end, it's all about violence.
When he returns, and there might be some people fighting against him, what's he supposed to do to them?
Yeah, but you have to admit then, Jesus is not a pacifist. He has commanded, according to your belief, to destroy and annihilate tribes and nations in the past, and he will do that in the future. Those who oppose him, those who don't believe in him.
What happens?
Isn't it?
What happens?
Isn't that the
No. What
understanding?
happens if I declare war against Queen Elizabeth and I take some guys up to Buckingham Palace to fight against her? What's going to happen? No. This is just an analogy. If I get an army of 100 and I take them to Buckingham Palace to fight against Queen Elizabeth in this country, what's going to happen?
They will defend.
They will defend.
Exactly.
They will defend, exactly.
So Christianity.
That doesn't make her a
So
bad
Christianity of the 3 years preaching of Jesus is just one snapshot of peace within the whole context of violence. That's all.
No, it will be a very limited judgment when Jesus
what we-
returns. It will be a very limited judgment.
And what is the judgment? He'll destroy them and wipe them off.
Any enemies against him will.
How would he deal
with them.
How would he deal with them?
Well, whether they lose their life, whether they lose their liberty, I don't know. But
it says he will make them into the footstool.
He said, he will, 1927, throw my enemy.
That's his enemy.
Throw my enemy.
So now
You know,
we
just
find
in a-
Jesus is not
in a-
very peaceful in the past or in the future.
In the same ways that Satanists are his enemies.
No,
and,
please.
You know,
From the whole overall context, Jesus Christ, in your belief, is not very peaceful in the past, neither will be peaceful in the future. He was, for the 3 years, a pacifist.
no, he's peaceful. He's peaceful, but if you go against him, you're
So
going,
when he
you've got
commanded to kill
realise-
the Amalekites and
you've got
destroy
to
them,
realise
was he peaceful?
You're going against the king.
Okay,
You're going
okay.
against the King of Kings.
Listen.
You know, simple
Listen.
fact,
What
you
I'm
know?
saying to you, what we are saying to you, we cannot use double standard. Yeah. When we find in the Bible that there are commands to put someone to death if he curses
But that's
parents.
not in the New Testament.
In the
That's
New,
not in the New
Testament.
We just read from the New
We
Testament.
read it in the New Testament.
And you were somehow
living in the New Testament.
Jesus
on
said-
denial.
Muslims are living in the Old Testament.
No, Muslims live in the
Listen,
last
listen,
Testament.
That's why you see stoning.
Listen.
You know, he who without him
Listen,
without
with
sin
all of my
cast
respect.
the first stone.
Listen. This is New Testament. We just read for you the New Testament. Jesus said to the people, yeah, the one who curses, that he's affirming the old command, the old one. He said the one who curses his parents, he should be put to death. So he said that. So we can't say, no, it's always love and peace. There is nothing of that. He said to the people, anyone who curses his parents,
Did that
which means
law?
if you curse, hold on.
No.
Which means
Did that
if you
law
curse
come
your
from
parents-
the Jews?
If you
Did that
curse your
law come
parents-
from the
listen,
Jews or come from God?
No, it's
From God. It says
From
command
God.
of God.
And the
Did you not read that in the text?
In what verse? In what verse is it?
The verse that you read,
We read it
it
just
says
now.
this was a command of God. Jesus was telling that.
Jesus was
You just read it.
Yeah, now
just
you
read
read it. You just read it. I don't know why.
Maybe it does.
Either you turn a blind eye.
No, maybe it does.
Why-
Maybe it does. Maybe it does.
Yeah, we just
I'm not denying anything.
So Jesus
I'm
said
not
very
denying it. I'm not
clearly,
denying
he
it.
said people are leaving the commands of God, the commandments of God, and they are trying to deal or they judge according to their traditions, and they are leaving. And in the old, he said he's affirming the one who curses his parents, he has to be put to death. He said very clear to the people. So which means he's